So now once we have completed setting up the base settings of the event, we can see we landed on the dashboard for this event, and more of these data would be populated once we set up more things inside of the event. And let's get started with that. So let's jump into registration setup. Once we go to registration setup, you can see this option of host organization, which actually links us to the memberships which we previously talked about and added. So let's talk more about this. So once an event is set up, and sometimes it's the organization that is setting up this event, and they want to give their members some perks and also want to display that they are the hosts for this setup, for this event. So how do we do that? Let's click on add organization. Let's suppose these are two organizations that are hosting this event. I have set up one managed organization in the previous videos, which is called Currinda. So I'll just link to the same organization here. Here I clicked on this. Now I have three API types to get my organizations. There are three types. So one is, if we have set up the organization in Currinda v2, which is the version we are using, then we have the option of members, which is an external organization setup. So we can click on members and we'll get different fields. Let's say I added members and I get to add this organization. It will search the organization on members, and we'll be filling in these details as well: API token from members, API endpoint, members ID, and members secret key. So there's also another option of Currinda v1. If someone had added their organization in version 1 of Currinda, they can click on this and they'll be filling in some organization details, and that would be it. So since we have set up this inside of Currinda v2, which is the current version, we'll select on Currinda. We do not require the membership number, so we'll set it to no. And let's select the organization again, because I changed the form quite a few times, so it got wiped out. Let's select, and then we have the checkbox link organization and hosting organization with your event. So this basically links the event with the host organization. So I'll just click it. I do not want this to be hidden, so this will hide the event from the public's view. Registrations will still work, so I'll not do this because I want them to see that this is the organization that is hosting this event. So let's add some description here. Main host organization. Now I'll click on save. So this gets saved. And I also want to add an unmanaged organization just for the sake of showing how we manage things. So I added a sample unmanaged host organization behind the scenes, which is an unmanaged organization. Clicking on it, and this is hosting. So let's click on save, and that saves our details. Now I have two organizations that are hosting this event. Now let's go further. Let's click on attendees. What are the attendees? Attendees are the types of delegates that would be attending this event. So some of them are created for us by default. One is the member, which basically refers to the organization members. Then we have student. Anyone who has the student check enabled in their profile will be treated with student prices, and the quantity is unlimited. Sometimes we have sponsors attending the event and we give them special prices and perks. So we give them a separate invite code and a link to join. If they want to join directly, they can join with this invite code. Say they can join through this link. Otherwise, if someone else is managing their group, they can use this code when they start to register for the group. And then we have non-members, which is the most quantity of people attending usually in an event, and this is again an unlimited quantity. Invited, we can sorry. So we also have invited type of member registration type, which basically gives us the ability to have an invited type membership, and we can give them this link, again similar to the sponsor exhibitor, and we can also give them this QR code so that they can scan this QR and start registering for themselves. And we also have this email button here, and we can see we can click on these buttons and start registration, or we can copy this invitation template and send them this template through email. So we'll not do any of that right now. Sorry. Now what we'll do is, the first thing, let's say managed memberships. We create a managed membership, and let's say the quantity is 10, and we sort this by 0, let's say. So 0 would make this on top, and let's add a description for host organizations which have managed memberships. Now we have 4 different types here, and as according to the title or the name we set up, managed memberships, we are going to use this checkbox member. Attendee categories with this checked will only be available to people who have indicated they are a member of the organization in the orgs tab. So this is for the delegate side, which we'll be catering to later once we have done this setup. So let's say I set up Currinda as the main organization, and we want the membership type to be, let's say, database developer. So anyone who is coming in to register for this event and is a part of the organization Currinda and has the membership type database developer, when they start to register, their first page will be the profile they fill in, and the second page would be where their membership is validated, and then they get the member prices further. So let's save this, and let's create another, or let's not create another one, we'll just manipulate this one. We have a member created here. Let's say this is unmanaged membership. Let's say the quantity is 10. So when this threshold is crossed, someone will not be able to register with this membership. And the member is here. Let's say the organization is sample unmanaged host organization. Since we don't have a membership type there, we can just leave it as it is and click on save. And now we have a managed membership and an unmanaged membership. So let's continue. Then we have time frames. In the time frames, we should read this note first. Regular time frame, as according to this, is not editable as it is the same as the registration start and end dates in event setup. To modify these dates or time zone for the regular time frame, please edit the registration dates, time zones from the event setup. You can change that by clicking here. This is basically a link that leads us to setup, and briefly I'll just show you that whatever we did in the add event setup is manipulatable, can be customized again, and we have all of the details that we can change. So let's not go into that here. Now this regular time frame is the time frame that caters to the original start date and end date of the registration, and whatever time frames we create inside of it will take place inside those registration dates. Let's say, for example, the time zone is inherited from the registration time zone. We cannot change this. And let's say the time frame name is early bird, and it starts from 4th of December to 7th of December. And let's click on add. Now how it will behave is, from 4th to 7th of December only this time frame will be active, and costs will be shown for the early bird, not for the regular. Now we can add another time frame. Let's say it is limited tickets, because at the end of the time of the registration we'll have limited number of tickets, for example. So we'll say on 19th and 20th we'll have some limited tickets that we want to sell. And then let's say add. This is just sample. This is not exactly what I'm trying to do here. So this is just for the sample purposes. So early bird, 4th to 7 December, early bird time frame will be active. Then it will be regular, and then it will be limited tickets. Wherever, whatever dates these are, 4th to 7th and 19th to 20th, whatever dates are excluded from these two ranges will be covered by regular. And you can see now their status is active, and the status of regular is active when other time frames are inactive, and this time frame is inactive right now. Now committee will come to later because it has to be shown end to end. We'll go to custom questions and define some custom questions for our delegates. Now you can see on the custom questions page we have some generic questions that we always want to ask and have been stored in the system itself. Enable ask dietary requirements question, enable ask special requirements question. So what they mean is, if someone has any special dietary requirements, someone suppose has peanut allergy and they do not want food that has peanuts, so they can answer that question and say that they have allergies of peanuts, so they request that peanuts be avoided. And someone may not be, they may be specially abled, so they might require some special help, so they can answer that question and say, suppose they need a wheelchair or they need someone to assist them to reach the venue. So these two questions are always essential. And then we can add some more custom questions, like add new custom question. Let's say, would you be interested in an Internet of Things workshop post the event? And then let me be as elaborate as possible here. So we have a description, we can add a description. The workshop will be held at a different location than the event venue. This will be a separate thing from the event itself. So we can have multiple answer types. Let's say we have multiple choice this time, because last time we did text or yes or no. So let's do multiple choice this time, and we limit the answer limit type. If we keep it text, we can keep it to characters of words. Let's say I can type in 10 characters, or if I change this to words, this changes to 10 words. Now if I remove these, because these would be irrelevant in my case because I'm asking it as a multiple choice question, so my answers would be separated by commas like this: option 1, option 2, with no spaces between the commas. So let's say, yes, I am interested, and then say comma, no, I am not interested. Then there will be another one, let's see after the event. So now we can link some questions to the add-ons themselves. These are default add-ons created by the event. We'll come to the add-ons later. We can also link them to delegate types. We have 6 different delegate types that we just set up, or the attendee types. So let's say that we want to ask this question to non-members, and let's link the registration type also. We can have 3 different types of registrations, which we'll come to later. For now, let's just skip linking the question with anything, so this can be asked to anyone who is joining this event. We can also link this to a certain organization that are hosting this event, so let's not do this right now. And then we have a default selection box. In this, we have to select, say, which will be the default option that would be checked. Let's say I want to keep this no, I'm not interested option. I'll copy this same and paste it here, and this would be selected as a default option. Now we can also add an image to the question and mark it as mandatory, make it admin only, and make it admin reachable. So let's keep it as mandatory for now, and let's add it. So now this custom question is created now, and we can also edit it and change anything we want to. Now we can add another question, let's say asking, would you like to be a volunteer in one of the sessions? And let's tie it to the let's tie it to non-members, and answer type should be yes or no, and then we make it mandatory and add it. And now we have two questions, and other than that we have two generic questions. This is how the registration setup is done.